Hi guys, welcome back to Wayward Son Custom. Today we have the Great Lakes Firearms GL19 Striker. And as you can see, it's kind of a Spartan type box. The gun does come with 2 magazines, gun lock, all that kind of stuff, in a cardboard box. Alrighty, so like I said, it comes with 2 magazines. There you go. Normal capacity for a Glock G19, and that's basically what this is a Gen 3 clone. And right off the bat, I will tell you, it came with 2 KCI USA magazines, and I have not had any luck at all with KCI mags. I'll be honest with you, when these come with a gun, I will I'll at least run 1 magazine of them through the gun and everything, just because that's what it came with. But on Glock pattern magazine or guns, I usually revert back to Glock OEM Magpul, or now the very nice and very reasonably priced Metgar magazines for the G19 and the G17. But anyway, so there you have it. I'll at least run 1, if not a few mags, rounds through these mags. But anyway, as I said, it's a Gen 3 clone of the G19 from Glock. Now, first thing you're going to notice is, if you're familiar with any aftermarket parts for Glocks and everything, you'll immediately spot this as a grit grip frame, which I actually really dig the aesthetics and the ergonomics on the frame. Now, of course, they are being made for GLFA, so it is marked as such, but it's a grit grip. And so the internals, how it works, all that kind of stuff is straight out of, like I said, it's a Glock 3 clone, Gen 3 clone. So that's how it runs, that's how it works, and those are the kind of parts you could use. Now, that being said, I can only assume, I don't have any information on it, but I can only assume that, looking at this trigger, that it is is made by Great Lakes Firearms. Same with the slide. The recoil, it seems to be sprung just about right, and yeah, I mean, it might be a little stiff, but of course that'll work its way out when you're shooting. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. As far as first once over, I really like the blue titanium Cerakote job on the frame. I like grit grips, as you know, the frame. So I actually like the frame quite a bit. It does have double undercuts, like I said. I do like the size of these serrations on the rear. The front, I don't know. I could give or take the lightning ports there and the serrations there. I don't know. As far as the slide goes, I'm not overly impressed with the aesthetics. But I will say it is kind of an extension of the Synergy double stack 1911 aesthetics that they have on theirs. I just think it's better executed. Looks a little bit better on the Synergy. But as far as cons go, this trigger really seems to be, I don't know if I can even get an angle to show you, but it seems this bevel here just seems like it's very sharp, and I'm not sure under recoil and after several rounds, I'm not sure how that's going to feel. But I don't know. So that's a potential con. I just won't know until I shoot it. It does come optics ready, but one thing I don't like is, and some people do, but I don't like blacked out front and blacked out rear. I prefer a blacked out rear in either a fiber optic or tritium front sight. But anyway, it feels good in my hand. Ergonomics are pretty good. I mean, the serrations, although I don't really like the aesthetic of the slide, they are very functional no matter how you grab it. So I'm not going to knock them there. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than let's hit the range. Great Lakes Firearms GL19 Striker. Alright guys, we are back from the range with the Great Lakes Firearms GL19 Striker. And I really wanted to like this gun. And I actually had some extreme high hopes. Now before I get too much into my overall impression, I will say that I did forget at least one or two things. And one is that with the grit grips, you do have the grit grip frame, you do have these ledges here that act as accelerator pads, and they are textured, and it's a nice little touch. I do like that. Alright, so as far as pros go, the ergonomics, the way the frame fits and feels and all that, top notch. I like the way it feels. I like the way it points. I like all of that. As far as how the frame feels, I like it. The layout is, all the controls are laid out same as a Glock, so nothing to complain about there. I really like the barrel. It is actually this barrel is very, it may vary, but mine is very accurate. I really was surprised at how accurate it was, because this is, this is getting down around TSOS PX9 almost, as far as the price point goes and everything. Somewhere in between there and say a run-of-the-mill like a Canic, as far as price goes. So well south of what you would pay for a Glock or most of its variants or clones or whatnot. But so it's very accurate. Ergonomics are great. What I don't like about it is, first and foremost, my reservations about the trigger were correct. This is a painful gun to shoot, because everybody talks about Glock knuckle. Nah, none of that at all. What I have is striker finger from the from this trigger. I mean, it has very little take up and all that. The trigger itself, I mean, if it wasn't for these bevels and the fact that it's made out of aluminum, it wouldn't be bad. I mean, the trigger functions just as it should. And it's actually not a bad trigger as far as how it performs. But as you're shooting, under recoil, these sharp bevels feel even sharper. It really starts digging into your finger, and it just doesn't make for a pleasant range experience. So, as far as cons go, I would change that out. And I've already mentioned the sights. Hate that. But then the elephant in the room is, as you watch the footage from the range, it just isn't reliable. Mine's not. You may get one, it may shoot fantastic, no issues. But mine had out of battery problems. It had dead trigger problems. And I mean, there's a lot of times, and I shoot a lot of Glock style guns, and I don't normally have a problem with me messing up as far as the reset goes. But if it does, it's like once in a great while. With this one, after a few rounds, I had to actually, after I'd fire, I would have to either with my thumb or with my finger push it back out so that I could fire again. And then, like I was saying, it would come out of battery and then stay out about that much, which is just enough to keep it from firing and everything. So it's a Glock style pistol. There's a lot of easy, there's a lot of easy explanations, a lot of easy fixes for this kind of stuff. But first and foremost, I would go with a different trigger. And as a matter of fact, at the price point you're selling these at, you can put an Apex trigger in there, which are phenomenal, and only bump it up like 100. That's it. And it'd be so much better. At least they're comfortable. Like I said, as far as functioning, the trigger's not bad. As far as how it feels when you're shooting, it's horrible. It is painful. So the trigger, the sights being just, black nothingness there. I'm not a big fan of that. But the main thing is I could handle all that if it actually was reliable. But so I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. I'm either A, going to send it back to him, B, do the work myself, hot rod it out maybe, and I'm kind of leaning that way, or I don't know what the other or is. I'm kind of leaning toward just hot rodding it out. Just one more thing to add to my custom gun collection that I've done over the years. I don't know. I might reach out to them and see what they have to say. Well, I'll at least reach out to them and send them a link to the video and everything so that they can see for themselves what's going on. That way, if this is a recurring issue, it happens in other guns that they've sent out, then they can correct the issue. If this is just if the reliability is just a one-off on my particular one, I just happen to get one that slipped through the cracks, then that's fine. But I'll let you guys know either way. And like I said, I'm kind of leaning towards, since I like the grip so much and it has such an accurate barrel, I'm looking at probably, my remedy is probably going to be to switch out the trigger on all the internals and see what's what then. But anyway, well, it looked like it was going to be a really good budget gun. It turned out to be a decent one as long as you're just shooting it on the range. But if you're planning on carrying one of these, I would take everything I say with a grain of salt. If you still want to buy one, then by all means, just make sure you run a lot of rounds through it to make sure that it's gonna work fine. Now, keep in mind, I found the issues on mine very quick, very fast. So, anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. And like I said, if you've watched my Synergy video, you'll know the Great Lakes makes some that Synergy double stack 1911 I got was phenomenal. So I'm hoping this was just a one-off, mulligan, but maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. You can also shoot me an email at waywardsoncustomgun@gmail.com. Let me know what you think, or just to shoot the bull. You can, if you hit me up on email, you can talk about anything you want. And I actually answer all of my stuff myself and in a timely fashion. So there you go. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, all that good stuff to help jog the algorithm. There's some codes and such in the description below that will save you some cash on some kit that you probably are already going to get. Check out the website, www.waywardsoncustomgun.com. See, I even threw in the 3 W's for you. Anyway, until next time, watch your six and carry on. Wayward Son out.